championships. We're not interested in you people right now. We want to know if you missed out. Why did you miss out? Because we missed out. So we don't want to talk about the guys who are somewhere that we are not. Welcome to the show, everybody. How you doing? Much thanks, as always, to Rob Machado for playing us in. He will play us out as well, and he can play to you every day if you visit ReverbNation.com/Rob Machado. Check out his stuff. You can download all of it and jam out, melt your face every single day. Thank you, Rob, for doing that for us. Merry Christmas, everyone. Late Merry Christmas. I hope everyone had a joyous holiday season. We are in a new holiday season, and that's bowl game season. We'll talk about that later. But right now, some of you are in the championship. Some of you missed out. Some of you still played last week in consolation brackets, such as myself. And in our last head-to-head matchup, I was finally victorious against my esteemed co-host, Mr. Roop. There it is. Find him on Twitter. You can see the address there on the bottom. Mr. Roop, there it is. How was your holiday, and how devastated are you at your fantasy season?
The holiday was great. Probably the most enjoyable part. I lost across the board. Nobody showed up. You know, you finally beat me at the time when it really mattered. I mean, when you go I lost 3 times this in this league that we're in right now, and I lost the last 2 in a row by the 4th and 3rd place teams just to kick me all out of the playoffs. A lot of fun. If you were to tell me that T. Higgins and Justin Jackson was going to carry a team somewhere along the lines in all these playoffs, you blow my mind. They just exploded. I mean, just chaos has happened. And that
Cincinnati team just went, good Lord.
Like, it was a wild, wild weekend. And of course, right now, today we heard horrible news that legendary John Madden passed away at 85.
We did.
So sad to hear that. I was like, my jaw dropped. I'm like, well, that sums up this year.
Icon. I mean, icon. We all, how many times have you played this game? You started playing football, you started with Tecmo Bowl, and then it went from Tecmo Bowl to Madden. You've been playing, we've been playing Madden for, 20 years, I think, probably more. And that's where it all started. Now, of course, it's all huge and stuff like that. And the icon started the turducken. We talk about it every year. They hand out the turkey legs at the game, and he started that stuff. He's going to be in the game of football, probably as long as there's football.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, such an iconic voice. I mean, you hear it everywhere. I can still hear it in my head now. I just on any play that I'm watching, and I wish he was still in the booths because it was just so great to hear him talk and his excitement. And he did a great thing for football for the longest time. So really wonderful and wonderful person. But sorry to see him go, but the legend's going to live on, no problem.
Absolutely, yeah. No, he's definitely a presence in football, and he will carry on. Speaking of carrying on, if you are carrying on, obviously we're not going to talk about ads or drops or anything like that this week. If you're in the championship round, you're on your own. You clearly, you've gotten lucky enough or know what you're doing or whatever. You might want to know that Carson Wentz has COVID and he's out. And that's kind of a big one just on a football level because the Colts were looking really good to make the playoffs with 2 games left. And with Carson Wentz gone, it's going to be hard to get that win. Hendo is on IR. Hendo owners, you lost him a week ago to COVID and you finally got him back, and now he's on IR for your championship game. Garoppolo's pretty banged up if you were playing him. Julio Jones, if you were counting on him to do anything, not going to happen. Tampa's going to be without Bruce Arians on the sidelines. He's got COVID. Mike Williams and Evans also both with COVID. Thanks, COVID, for championship games because those guys definitely were on rosters. CEH is week to week with his injury, so keep an eye on him. Sanders is out, and keep an eye on Thielen, who re-aggravated his injury. If you are in the championship round, you may have a guy named Eckler on your team who did not play, but he is back from COVID. Lamar Jackson is probable this week. Dalvin Cook, he's still a maybe. Hunt is back if you need him, and Goff is back if for some reason you were playing him, but I don't know why you would be. But that's kind of just a roundup of the injuries and the COVID and stuff like that. I think Carson Wentz, Hendo, and Eckler probably have the biggest impact. Well, Evans as well. and we'll see if Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook's okay because most people that had Dalvin Cook had the handcuff with Madison. I know I did. And Madison definitely came through when Cook was gone this year.
Yeah, several times he did, no doubt about it. Didn't do so great this week, but he still gave you the points that should be put in that position. He didn't fall short like a Tyreek Hill, who probably failed you.
Oh man,
I mean, there's some players that just fell off the charts and didn't do anything.
no,
And
Hill owners got slaughtered. Kamara owners got slaughtered. Kelsey owners really needed him back. Hopefully you didn't need him, but it seems like a lot of people did, just from the Facebook and all that. I've definitely seen a lot of people mentioning those names this week for why they are not in the championship. If you didn't make the championship, let us know why. Let us know who didn't make it for you. I can count off.
Speaking of championships, one of our biggest fans, Aurora, my wife actually ended up winning our league. She paid attention every week, and she dominated the last couple of weeks. So congratulations to her. And anybody else who's now going into this championship week, we wish you all the best. There's anything can happen. I've seen it week in and week out. Doesn't matter if you score the highest points all throughout the league. It's about what happens this week right here, right now. That's all that matters.
Yeah, my main commission, the league I've been commissioner in for I don't know how many years. Our 4-6 team are playing in the championships. It's a six team in, and the 2 wild cards basically 4 and 6. They're the guys playing in the championship. Good roster moves, good pickups, and a lot of luck for COVID and opponents with injuries and COVID and stuff. And I think that's kind of. I don't think anybody is going to win this year just straight. You never finish with the team that you drafted, but you needed help from COVID and injuries one way or the other. Either you had to get real savvy. There was the week where like half the NFL was on bye week. And then in these late weeks when you're getting down to the championship push, we've had so many injuries and so many COVID things. If you made the championships, you probably had some luck on your side, and you probably made some pretty smart moves that probably paid off bigger than you thought they were. If you guys made any of those moves, let us know, but let us know who let you down this week.
A lot of players let a lot of people down. I can't even remember my best pickup. Might have been Madison, like early season, that really helped out a little bit. But like everything that I did, somebody let me down. I put them on the bench. They went off. Bad matchups, I said, I can't play them. And then they went off. I put them in on decent matchup. They get shut down. I sometimes I don't even know what to do. You just put your best players in, hope for the best, but it comes down to that little bit of luck, a little bit of, somebody got pushed in the end zone factor. At the end of the day, that's really what it takes.
Yeah, it was crazy season. And we're going to talk more about this next week. Join us next week. We're going to round off the season. We're going to talk about the biggest duds, the biggest guys who let you down, those guys you drafted in the first couple rounds that just never showed up. Maybe, obviously you've got the McCaffrey injury, you're halfway through, things like that. So we're going to talk about the whole thing. Join us next week. Contribute yourself. Let us know the guys that just let you down this season, the Russell Wilsons, the DK Metcalfs. And I think that we should, because I know a lot of people are doing it. I think that we should, and everybody else should as well, crown your biggest duds. We'll do it individually, but the biggest dud for me this NFL season was, the biggest letdown was, and we'll crown that next week. You guys join us next week and tell us who your biggest dud was as well for the season. And I'm going to make a rule that it can't be your biggest dud. Your number one guy cannot be due to injury. It's got to be a guy, and it's not that he couldn't have your guy could have gotten injured and come back or whatever. But this is, we're talking guys that you drafted in the first couple rounds and you got them for a reason because they were supposed to go off. I'll mention DK Metcalf as a perfect one. I don't think he's the king for me, but he's somebody that drafted really, really high first couple rounds and just never really produced all season.
Yeah, that's actually great way to put it because I have probably 4 to 5 early round picks on all my drafts that somebody went down somewhere along the line, already on IR early. Like pulled the Thielen where he caught one pass and then went down on the ankle injury a couple weeks ago, and stuff like that hurts. Like, if you give me 20 points and get hurt in the third, fourth quarter, I'm a little less bitter about it. But that first catch and then gone hurts a lot. So yeah, I'll have to do some research, and because a lot of those players aren't on my team anymore. They're gone, injured reserve, and I don't even know. I think I cut a lot of those duds, so I have to go back to my earlier week 1, week 2, see who was actually in my lineup.
Yeah, Mark mentions that Josh Allen killed it in the pass this week. Yeah, he had a big game finally. Because a lot of Josh Allen owners have been kind of like, come on, dude, pick it up and let's go. Like, I got to make the championship. I know Mark did make the championships. He's that 6 team I was talking about. Rob talking about. You had stupid Dallas defense, or the guy running your league made weird ass defensive point system. Yeah, I was in 2 of those leagues actually, where the guy running the league made weird ass defensive point systems. But you know what? That's, you got to read the fine print. You got to get in there. You got to read the rules. You got to understand what's up beforehand. And to be honest, like,
I told them, never mind. That point system is a lot of fun. I don't care who you are. When I see a defense carry you with 90 points, I love it. I messed up with it, and I lived with it, and it cost me several games, but it was a lot of fun because anybody could win, and that defense will carry you.
Yeah, Kevin says Waddle for the late win. Thanks for joining us, Kevin. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like a lot of people, it's all year it's been Waddle or Parker when Parker was finally healthy. One game Parker would go off, another game Waddle would go off. But Kevin got the benefits of Waddle going off. I don't think Parker even had a target last week. So, good for you for playing Waddle and putting him in. Kevin, did you make the championship? Let us know. I'm interested. And that's what I was going to say about the points is yes, it was different. And you can say that I like the term weird ass system, because you don't want to say like, stupid system or anything like that, because it's just different. And when you do different things like that, I've heard a lot of different ways that have interested me in scoring and the way people are drafting, the type of players are drafting, scoring. And it's been really cool to see all these different things come up. This is my first year doing a league with the FAB system, which was interesting. One league, it seemed like you didn't need FAB at all. In the other league, you definitely needed FAB. Kevin, congratulations for making the championship. Best of luck to you. Who's the guy that you are counting on this week? The guy or guys? Who's a couple guys that you are just really hoping come through for you? Because this season has been a season where people are you just don't know if they're going.
Anybody playing Baltimore, apparently.
Yeah. But yeah, the different scoring systems and stuff like that are they're kind of fun to get in there and do.
Yeah, we're going to do this league again next year, and I want you guys to know that I'm going to leave the defense the way it is because I think it's exciting. Every week the defenses were important, and I'm going to kind of hang on to that and see what happens next year as well. Hopefully people enjoy it.
Yeah, Mark mentions Allen and Adams. Adams definitely helped me out in my win against you this week. The Cowboys players and a couple Green Bay players definitely instrumental in my win this week. We mentioned Aurora, your wife, won the league. She threw us a little bone there and a little bit of thanks for our insight and our knowledge, and we just throw it back to you that we said a lot of stuff this year, and we did pretty good with our ads this year. We are just over 80% success on our ads, so we appreciate you listening, but more we're just appreciative that it worked out.
It's great.
You made the moves, you made the decisions. I'm sure you didn't listen to everything we said, and that obviously benefited you in the end. So congratulations to you, Aurora, for taking down your league and winning that ship.
Yeah, that's really exciting. It also questions my how much work I put in and if I'm actually making the right calls, because other people are winning, but I'm not. I guess that happens. sometimes.
Yeah, that was weird because we did a lot of work, and you mentioned this last week. We did a lot of work, and we really did, have an overwhelming success rate on the ads, ads and drops, who to play, who not to play. Christian Kirk was one that really comes to mind. People were real high on him after the second week, and we said, don't do it, stay away from him. We mentioned a lot of reasons why, and it was paid off. He did have a week or two, and we mentioned this might be a week you play him. Rob, thank you, Rob. He talked about the Ertz call when he first came in, and then he kind of died off, stuff like that. So, but our teams themselves, we have no problem admitting, because that's how fantasy football goes, that while we were helping all these teams out, our teams, I don't know why they suffered, but we didn't finish great. This has easily been my worst season overall for fantasy, and I'm so glad that we can help other people, and I don't mind because we did help other people. But it would have been nice. It's weird that our own rosters didn't benefit.
Yeah, actually, I broke it down a couple weeks ago of how many I lost by 1 or 2 points, or 3 or 5 points, or 10, and it was a lot across all of my leagues. And Kevin, I don't know why I look like Ron. Yeah, I would just go for it. Start Rutgers this week. You're in the championship. Just bench your quarterback. You don't need him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just set her down. You don't need a quarterback. I went with that one quarterback in my league, and I still won. I unknowingly did it. I didn't know that I had Jackson rostered in there. I got lucky thanks to the Cowboys players. If you played Cowboys players this week, you probably won your match. Double digits from everybody. Double digits from the defense. Double digits from the tight end. Cooper from Elliott. Prescott. Like everybody just ridiculous against that Washington team, and the Washington's defense is notably banged up, and they're missing a lot of players. But that was just a shellacking. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed it, watching all the points go up and saying, "Yep, I'm going to lose again," because somebody had a career day. It happens all the time.
Right. The career day. How many times did that happen to you? You took a loss because the guy you're playing had a career day. I can definitely say Mark.
I don't even want to. I don't want to go back and do the homework. It happens all the time.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
Get ready for that W, baby. Get ready.
I don't want to relive that. I don't want to relive that pain. I am going to go back, and we'll post it up on Facebook because we want to hear from you guys. But I want people to go back and look at the team you drafted and the team you ended with, and see how many people actually survived the season for you. I definitely have a couple, but predominantly, there's a lot of trading and stuff going on, and I'll allow bye week trades if you got them back. If you dropped them for a bye week because you had to and got them back, that's fine. But for the most part, I'm looking for poll to poll who stayed on your roster the whole time. And we'll talk about that again next week. We'll talk about that during the week and revisit that on the show. But I always think that's something I always look at every year anyway for myself. So I'd like to see what other people have.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny you say that, because we talked about that when we were talking about drafting strategies and understanding that you're not going to keep all these players. We said it a week or two before the drafts, or the normal draft weekend. And right now I have only 7 players left, one of them on IR. So like we said it before, you're not gonna keep all these players the whole time. Maybe the number 1, number 2 seeds, sure, maybe they never had to pick up anybody, but like we said, your team's gonna change, and it definitely did.
Yeah, I think there was probably a lot of changes. Kevin, you made the chip. How many changes did you have? Not for a specific number, but do you think your team is drastically different? Mark, you're in the championship as well for your league. Is your team drastically different, or is the core pretty much stay the same? Yeah, Rob says it was almost a complete change up. I definitely have teams that are like that. Yeah, and 47,391 changes. That sounds about right. I think that's probably about average. I think that's about right where it's supposed to be for championship teams. Yeah, it's so many. And I think there was more this year because of injuries, because of COVID, because it was just such a strange season.
Yeah, 47,391 changes. That's what I did right before the first games on Sunday. I did that. I switched somebody at the last second, and that's why I lost. So that's what I do every Sunday. A lot of fun to do that and find out it's already locked because you find out some news, and yeah, it hurts, but it's a good laugh when you're knowing that you don't have to watch football anymore 30 minutes into the first game where you know you're already going to lose. So it makes it fun.
That hurts. Yeah, Kevin says you never trust your, and that is kind of a rule for anybody that's been playing. And the thing is, I think that's probably like the number one rule that we all know and we all break. Anybody who's been playing fantasy football or DFS or anything like that, never change your lineup right before the game. You just don't do it. It never works. It's never the right decision. And yet we all do it. We do it all the time. Rob says in the start off Kyler, and he's just wearing down. Points were good at the beginning and definitely came down midseason. That's true. Kyler was a beast at the beginning, got hurt bye week, etc., and he's never been the same. He hasn't come back. I think it, probably doesn't help Kyler that Hopkins had been injured all season. Hopkins, again, is one of those guys that I expected a lot of. I drafted him where I could, and he just didn't produce. So next week, he'll definitely be on my dud list when we talk about that. You guys come back and share your dud list with us, the guys that you drafted and thought were going to do something and just never panned out. Some of the big surprises, of course, were Cooper Kupp. I don't think anybody saw that coming to that extent. I saw plenty of things written down about, get Kupp. Kupp's going to be a value to your team, but I don't think anybody had him as a number one receiver in the NFL this year.
It's funny you say that. Not in our league, not in our sleeper league, but in my other league, my 8-team league, there was a guy who didn't want to share the information with me, but he said that him and Stafford, Cooper Kupp and Stafford, would eat breakfast together every morning, like 2, 3, 4 hours, and talk game plan and all this stuff. And he knew that before the draft, and he didn't share it with me.
Wow.
For obviously reasons. And I was like, So, Scott, if you're listening, congratulations. You're probably going to win. You have the best team by far. And I think Kupp's going to show up again this week. But
of course,
he didn't share that information. And when we share all the information that we have, it kind of makes us equal to the playing field, except other people don't have to do the homework. When I spend hundreds of hours over the season, this isn't a lot, hundreds, and watch other people be successful, it makes me happy and like a little bit of bitter at the same time. Like, can I get 2 points, please, for that W? Like, I was in 7th place in like all my leagues, just one spot out of the playoffs, and it wouldn't have paid off because I knew some teams were just stacked. They had all the key players that were stepping up. So it definitely pays off to do a little bit of extra homework and read somebody else's stuff, not all the big names, and come to some of us little guys. We might know a thing or two.
Yeah, Kevin mentions that he picked up Burkhead and started him out of desperation. 26 points, I think, standard. 26 points. Yeah, PPR. Let me get the PPR here. 28, basically 29 points PPR. What a great pickup and a great play. And that's that luck factor that we talked about. He admits himself, like starting him out of desperation. I was just hoping to get something out of him. And you end up getting almost 30 points out of the guy. That'll definitely help you land in the championship. And it's those type of moves that I think helped a lot of teams that are in the championship is you had to do that week when the whole, half the NFL was on bye week. You had to pick up players that weren't supposed to do anything, and maybe you got to Ernest Johnson that week or something like that, and it just happened to carry you through. Cincy having a whole LSU team helped them. It definitely seemed to. Cincinnati, and we'll probably touch on this a little bit more next week too, but the surprises in the NFL this year, because I think Indy is definitely one. Because with Wentz there, no one really thought they were going to do anything. Now they're on the verge of the playoffs. Of course, Wentz has COVID this week. So now that's all kind of in question. Philadelphia is looking good to make the playoffs. And people didn't really think, that was a great move by Philly to put Hurts in there. But Hurts is like the only guy that's shown up in Philly this year. the defense has shown up a little bit as of late. Cincinnati, obviously, winning their division is absolutely crazy, but that's what they brought Burrow there to do. That's what they brought his LSU teammate there to do, and it was looking pretty iffy for a while. Mixon goes down, and they weren't winning games, and they were really banged up. But in the end, and it helps that the rest of their division has been struggling. But I mean, it's kind of interesting to see the teams that are gonna make the playoffs this year, because it definitely didn't look that way. Kansas City maybe being the biggest surprise. A lot of people wrote them off pretty early.
They definitely turned around. A lot of surprises here. I mean, like Jalen Hurts breaking Michael Vick's rushing touchdown record. You didn't see it coming. I did. Obviously, I'm a little closer because he came to OU. I watched him in Alabama. I saw his focus. I said, this is the guy I want to draft in the later rounds. I normally wait for a quarterback a little bit later. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. But he did win me a couple games because he was a later round pick for me. And to show up the way he did really benefited me, except with the Devonta Smith. I wish they were more of the Cooper Kupp, Stafford connection. It's just not there. So we got to – I mean, I know they have the tight end thing with Goddard and Ertz, but we just have to, figure out who's really going to be that important guy in each lineup. And that's usually who I want to go for, but I fell short. 25 points and 30 would have given me the win. Really makes a change, and every week something like that happens. You just gotta have the right guy in, and normally he's on my bench.
Yeah, well, you had you lost one of your games because your quarterback threw an interception right at the end of the game. It was Wilson, wasn't it?
This is not Russell Wilson has screwed me multiple years. He screwed me about 8 years ago, 5 years ago.
He's horrible this season.
He was falling behind. I was winning the game against Rob, actually, and he was like, "Oh, you got this one." I was like, "I don't know about that." Russ is gonna.
Yeah, I think he said it on the show. I think it was on the show. He was congratulating you on the show at the end of the show, but he was congratulating you on the win because it looked like you were probably going to pull it off.
No, and I texted him. I said, "No, not a chance." They got to get 2 scores. So, I mean, I was up by 0.1 at the time, and I was like,
"Yeah, you texted me about it."
2 scores. So yeah, and I texted him. I was like, and I wasn't even that upset about it because I knew something was going to happen because he had to get 2 scores, and I just watched him throw it up into the end zone. I was like, "You son of a!" I was so mad. I was like, "Russ, what are you doing?" I mean, it was easy pick, and yeah, it was a Tuesday night heartbreaker. As soon as the defense caught it, his defense scored those 2 points, and I knew it was over because everybody else was taking a knee after that. So, it just Wilson will be on my list next week as well. Find out where. Tune in next week. Let us know what your list is going to be for the guys that just let you down this season. Probably give you a 5 to 10 dud list.
Yeah, no, it will be definitely
confirmed dud lists.
Well represented across the league.
Yeah, Rob got it this week. He felt it.
Oh, and did you? It happens.
We weren't going any further than this round. We knew the number 1, number 2 team we were going to win. So don't worry about that, Rob. I called that 2.5 months ago. I said, I don't care who's winning. It's going to be one of those 2 teams. Well, there they are.
There they are. I mentioned it before on the show, kind of the bad beats, and we did a week about bad beats and stuff. And I think it was. I'm almost positive that it was Russell Wilson again. It was the end of a game. I was up by the point, whatever, fractions of a point, and the game was over, and he takes 3 knees, so gets negative yardage, and I lost by fractions of points. I think it was 2 years ago that happened. So yeah, thanks Russell Wilson.
I think that same year. Was that the same year where he took a knee or something, or all they had to do was run out the clock, but he ended up throwing a 40-yard pass for no whatsoever reason, and then he started taking a knee after that. That really pissed me off because he didn't need to take any passes at all. He just could have taken knees and won the game. I don't know what he was doing, but I don't know. I think I blacked out after that. I was seeing red. It was horrible. I was like, "What are you doing?" And it cost me another game. So that's when Russell Wilson. This is the reason why I don't draft him. I don't even like drafting his players he throws to because it just hurts too much.
But yeah, DK Metcalf did not have a great season. He's on my dud list. Lockett is boom or bust every week. Lockett did have a decent season in the beginning.
Yes.
Definitely had some games, but you never know when to actually play him because you don't know, when Russ is actually going to throw him the ball. But definitely a weird season this year with so many things. San Francisco, at the beginning of the year, no one gave them a chance. They're a win and in team. If they can just win their game, now Garoppolo's not out, but Trey Lance has done okay, and again, winning they're in, and I would
Yeah.
not
Do
have seen
you
that
pick
coming.
up, Trey Lance this week? I mean, in the championship, do you even chance something like that? No.
No. If you
Don't.
had said after the first game, if you had said Green Bay was going to win the division and
Yeah.
Aaron
Okay.
Rodgers is going to be the MVP again, I wouldn't have taken the chance to say that on the show. But there it is. Aaron Rodgers definitely in the talk for MVP. That'll be on next week as well. We got a lot to talk about next week. We'll talk about who our MVP picks are and rookie of the year on offense and defense. I think that defensive rookie of the year, and they said it during the game as well. But I think that the odds on Micah Parsons is minus 50,000 right now. He's pretty much, it's done. It's over with. Micah Parsons is going to get, and I think he deserves it.
Wait, didn't I call Mike Parsons? Was like,
I don't know, and that's why we're going to talk about it next week because we're going to go back. We're going to flip back all the pages and see our predictions. I know I did not. I had Surtain. I know that.
this is all my notes of all the stuff that I've done over the season of this show. And I know there's no writing on that one, but this is the stuff that we're talking about here. And
yeah. I got to find the right notebook and find out which one because I've got a couple. But yeah, we're going to go over all those predictions that we had and see how we did as far as that went. Still a couple weeks to find out who's going to actually make the Super Bowl. So that prediction will come later. But yeah, Kevin says Parsons for defense, Bosa, comeback player of the year. Those are fantastic predictions. I would take odds on those for sure. I guess for receiver you got to say Cup, obviously.
Cup is he won it like 4 weeks ago. Did you know that there's the 12th running back in the league? 12th rank is been on IR for 6 weeks. I don't know. Derrick Henry sounds.
Derrick Henry, and that's what I was gonna literally just about to say that, which is why you're the best co-host in all the land. You say things before I get a chance. Yeah, Henry probably gets the rushing title again, except he gets hurt. So now we're looking, and running away with it. And I don't know if you would have called that as well. Not the Henry injury, but as far as the league leader right now.
I actually tweeted something a long time ago in the early parts of the season when they asked, besides CMC, who would be the number one draft pick next year? And I said, Henry. And people were laughing and saying, no, he's not. He's not going to do anything. And I was correct up until when he got hurt.
Up until he got hurt.
Dominant, I think, could have changed people's mind. You don't need, the PPR points. For standard league, he's probably going to be the number one. But, even in PPR league, I was like, well, I would still probably take Henry, especially over CMC now that he keeps getting hurt. A couple of the other players getting hurt as well. I still like Henry. I know he's just, as soon as he gets the train going, you just can't stop the guy. To be like what Kevin said, he was at the top for like 4 weeks after he was out.
After he got hurt, he was so far ahead that he still maintained the rushing title for I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks. You're absolutely right.
He's probably still going to be top 15, top 20 after getting hurt halfway through the season.
Halfway through the season, hasn't come back and still going to be there. Yeah, that's insane.
So I mean, maybe my choice was right. I don't know. I'm happy that he's out of people's view right now because I'm going to take him early next year. I'm just going to do it. if I get the chance, of course.
I think I want to say the rushing leader right now is from Indy.
Yeah.
Um, Taylor, geez.
And,
And
and it was I know I've already said it. We said it 2 months ago. We passed on Taylor before the
we
draft. We did.
did. No,
That
and
was my
yeah,
miss.
no, we absolutely did. There we go. If I can get it up. Yeah, it looks like Taylor is in the lead right now. Is Eckler? I have Eckler's up there, and it just depends on if you're going standard or and we'll look at all that next week. So I'm not going to get too far into it, but we know Taylor's leading it, and so with Wentz out this week, obviously Taylor's going to get a lot of work. So you just expect him to basically expand that league. He's playing against Las Vegas. Las Vegas. I think they're middle of the road against running back. So Taylor should, do well, obviously being more than a middle of the road running back. Bear with me. Sorry, guys. Actually, Las Vegas is 26th against the run. So Taylor, again, should have another
Taylor's
big
going to
week.
take it down.
Probably on a few championship teams out there as well. It's not inconceivable. It's actually fairly probable that there are teams out there that could have Taylor and Cup, and maybe even Hill, depending on how you took it. If you could conceivably have all three of those guys, and Mahomes all on the same team.
Yeah, I mean, if you had Taylor last week, would he get you like 10 points? If you actually made the championship, because Taylor was probably your first or second pick,
Oh yeah,
he did not show up for you. So if he did make it, just know he probably will carry it this weekend. I think he'll probably put up 25 points. I just going against Las Vegas. I know they want to win. You're in a dome. The it's not going to matter the weather. So if Wentz is completely gone and out, they're going to ride him all the entire game. I mean, just tear it up.
yeah. I love what Kevin says here. This is a fantastic point that Kevin makes. He started the year with Henry and CMC and ended it with Mitchell and Burkhead. Obviously the Burkhead play, like he even admits, was in desperation and having to pay off. But the Mitchell thing was back and forth all year. He's hurt, he's injured, he's in, he's out. I'm sure he didn't play every week on Kevin's roster. Mark brings up the point that Taylor's played all season, whereas the other guys, the Chubb and the Henry and Cook and all those guys that are still up there, even Eckler, who I think is number 2, they all have had weeks out with injury. So, is Taylor number 1 without all those injuries? I don't know, probably not, especially with Henry. I think Henry obviously number 1, but without injuries, yeah, Cook's probably ahead of Taylor as well, at least. But it's just been a weird season. Just a weird season.
Yeah, it's been horribly weird. COVID is dominating. COVID's been around for 2 years, and I'm 100% over it. I don't want to have to deal with it next year. Probably still leave 3 IR spots open in all the leagues that I commish.
Sure.
But I almost want to make it more just for what happened last week where 50 or 60 people went on COVID. It just was a nightmare for teams. I don't think people should have to suffer that much for that drama, but yeah, good luck, Kevin. I hope you're banking on his return this week. For whatever teams you want or players you want, hey, put all your cards on the table because this is it. This is the home stretch. This is all the last minute changes and the late nights and early mornings checking your lineups on the just hoping that you get to this position. I get to enjoy my vacation for a couple more days and do nothing, and I'm looking forward to it and watch everybody else be really excited or piss and moan. I can't I don't know which one, but you're going to get those responses. Some people are actually pretty humble. They're like, yeah, I know who's going to win because that number one team is dominating. But anything can happen. I've seen it every year, every playoffs, every round, something crazy happens. So it's not over yet. It's not over.
I saw one league that the 6 people that made the playoffs, because of all the COVID stuff, all the craziness going on with COVID, the 6 players that made the playoffs, they all agreed to split the pot instead of playing it out, which is interesting to see. I don't think I've seen that before. So I think that it'll be nice, hopefully, next year to play without COVID. But even still, the injuries are going to throw wrenches in there. Kevin, Mark, congratulations to you guys. Best of luck making the championships. Best of luck. Come back next week. Let us know if you finished it off. We'll talk about the duds. We'll talk about our predictions. We'll talk about your rosters, if from draft to now, and we'll have other stuff. Pay attention to the page. Pay attention. We'll be reaching out all week and with poll questions and all kinds of stuff for you guys to respond with. And hopefully we'll see you guys next Tuesday for the last show of the fantasy season, where we just kind of wrap up this whole season and have some fun with you guys. But even more fun is, as chaotic as the NFL season has been, as always, chaos reigns supreme in college. And in college football, we've seen bowl games actually canceled. We've seen teams move around, and the bowl season is, barely underway, and it's already chaos as usual.
Yeah, I would agree. Kevin, I know this is your first time tuning into the show. We will do all the homework for you. Besides these last couple of weeks, we always give you all the pickups and drops and maybes and don'ts. Just we're not doing it this week because we're just gonna have a little bit of fun. And yeah, I did see the emergency backup replacement for COVID players, so I did see that. But don't worry, when you tune in next year, we will have the information for you. But we definitely are going to get into the college chaos because you're right. Host with the most, I'm telling you. There's bowl games dropping left and right. I don't even know who's going to play tonight, tomorrow, the next day. It is going to be a wild one. Are they pushing playoffs back? We don't know. Are they even going to be healthy enough to play? We even had to change our picks from a couple of bowl games because they're now playing new teams because some of the other teams backed out, and which is kind of exciting, but it makes my picks easier.
Yeah. So right now, just to catch everybody up, we did all the bowl games from last week. We kept it to when we could share it with you guys. Thanks a lot for saying that, Kevin. We appreciate that. We definitely love having you. Hope you keep coming back. Stay with us in the off season as well. We'll definitely be back next year. Well, it started from last week. We started with Army versus Missouri, and we went all the way through. We gave our predictions. We're not going to recap all of them, but right now I am in the lead. I have 4 games to Roop's 3, and the last game tonight, Texas Tech, Mississippi State. We both picked Mississippi State, so win or loss, I'm still going to be in the lead, but still a ton of bowl games to go. But we've lost 4 bowl games. Technically, we've lost 5, but 1 has gotten rescheduled. So we lost ECU versus BC. We lost Memphis versus Hawaii. We lost Virginia versus SMU. And then we got some new opponents in different bowl games.
Yeah. Let's see. Texas A&M backed out. So we have Wake Forest at Rutgers. That was a new one.
Yeah, I had Wake Forest. You did too. I'm still going to take Wake Forest. I have no reason to believe that Rutgers would beat Wake Forest. Not that either team was fantastic, but especially Rutgers just kind of picking it up, and good for them, so there's a game to be played. But I still got to take Wake Forest on that.
And the Washington State is now playing Central Michigan.
Yeah, I had Ball State. We both did. We both had Ball State over Central Michigan. I'm going to actually take Washington State. That's where I'm from. I've been a Cougar my whole life. Obviously, I'm a
You are
Buckeye
a
first,
Cougar. That's true.
but
Damn right you are.
it is true. So I am going to take Washington State over Central Michigan.
I'm
Even
going to
so,
do
what
that.
happened there is Washington State had a bowl game and they lost their opponent. Central Michigan had a bowl game; they lost their opponents. They both agreed to go play in Arizona for the Sun Bowl against each other, and that's kind of cool to see that happen as well. I'm going to take Washington State over Central Michigan.
I also have Washington State over Central Michigan. I know you don't really pick Michigan teams,
I do not.
or
I did pick
Michigan,
one.
what you call it. But did we pick West Virginia and Minnesota because they're later tonight?
Yes, we did. We both had Minnesota. Well, no, are they actually playing or did they get
It says
canceled? Oh, no, I see.
9:15.
Yes. I see. I got you. Yes, we both picked Minnesota.
Okay. Yeah, because I think just Minnesota's. They just always seem to have more excitement when they play. It might be their coach, I don't know, or maybe the paddles and row your boat.
Minnesota's good football. Minnesota's good football. I like to watch
Yeah.
those guys. Yeah. So we'll keep adding that and updating on the page. So if you're not subscribed, if you're not following following us on Facebook, follow there. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook and not YouTube, go to YouTube and subscribe to the channel, and you'll get exclusive content there as well. But we'll keep you guys up to date on that. We'll recap that next week as we finish the show to see how we're doing in the bowl. Mark asks, who'd you take for Virginia Tech or Maryland? Let me find that one.
We didn't really discuss that too much. I think I took Virginia Tech.
I don't even have it on my sheet. Did we talk about that?
We missed that one, and I wanted.
Oh, that was prior. That was prior to, right?
Yeah.
That was before we actually put. I would have to look at my actual sheet. Of course, I joined the contest. I don't have that in front of me. I probably took Maryland. I don't know that I did. I believe Maryland did win that game, especially since you're mentioning it. So, because I know Mark is
Virginia Tech, the one that has this pretty good rock music before everything comes out, and they're jumping in the stands.
They got all the lights and the strobe lights going and all that.
Yeah, it might be like I don't know. It's a small band like Metallica or something that they play into. It's it seems fun. So that's why.
Yeah. I'm sure that was probably a fun game, and someone had to win. So I guess Maryland did. Congratulations, Mark. This week we've got there are a lot of bowl games going on, but of course Saturday we've got Friday we've got the New Year's Eve bowls, and then Saturday we got the New Year's Day bowls. Big bowl games there. Of course, my Ohio State Buckeyes play on Saturday, which in the Rose Bowl. But we got big games going on, and each day this week there's quite a few. I think we have 5 or 6 bowl games today, but there's a lot of bowl action, if you will, this week, which is why I wore my Buckeye gear. What's that?
The Sooners play tomorrow against Oregon.
Is it tomorrow? I thought it was. I did not know it was tomorrow. I thought it was the next day. It sure is tomorrow. Look at that. I think I did take Oklahoma in that game. I did. Yes. I still expect it to be a good game, but I definitely am hoping that Oklahoma wins that game. I'm just looking.
Any takers are thinking that Oklahoma is going to lose. I don't mind betting. Hit me up. I'll take that bet. Not checking lineups, not checking who's out and about and who's in. I don't care who's going to the NFL. Send me a request. We'll see.
Of course, New Year's Eve is the BCS championships. Alabama is going to play Cincinnati, and Michigan and Georgia will match up. You have Michigan beating Georgia. I have the opposite of that. We both have Alabama beating Cincinnati. So I think they're both going to be good games. Well, no, I don't. I lie.
I think Georgia.
I have Georgia over Michigan. Yes.
I circled the wrong one for you.
Oh no, you're good. I have that. Yeah, because of course I'm never going to vote. I'm never going to think that Michigan's going to win. But I honestly believe that Georgia's going to win that game. I really do. I think the Natty is going to be a rematch. We both have Alabama winning out the whole thing, regardless. And I said I think those games are going to be close, and I retract that. I don't think the Alabama-Cincinnati game is going to be close at all. I do think Cincinnati is going to score. I think they'll probably score in the first quarter. But I could definitely see Cincinnati scoring in the first quarter and getting blanked the rest of the game, just getting completely overwhelmed by a Saban coach team that's just, talent-wise, just superior. I mean, it's not Cincinnati's fault.
No, they're just
Alabama.
Alabama's bigger, faster, stronger,
Yeah.
better coached. Just no offense to anybody on Cincinnati, just Alabama has been dominant for a long time, and I think they're going to dominate again. And I will eat my words if it happens, because I've been against Cincinnati all year long. But they pulled off some big wins, and I don't know if you can take Bama. When you go up against a team like that, you can be really hungry, but about that third quarter, you're going to get pretty tired.
Yeah, and you really. I think you're going to see that in the game plan. I think you're going to see that on the field as you watch the game. If you pay attention, I think you're going to see Alabama doing a lot of stuff to wear Cincinnati down. I think it's going to be real slow. I think Alabama's going to take some big shots to run those DBs out, make them run deep routes. I think they're going to really pound that line and wear Cincinnati's line down. And I think, I don't know what the score is going to be at the end of the first half, but I think the second half, Alabama is just going to really open it up, and easily a double-digit win. I
think Alabama wants the ball first, just to make sure that Cincinnati's defense is the first one on the field, and just start wearing them out right away. And there's some big dudes in Alabama, and as much as I want to play football, I can just be like, I don't want to play anymore. Not going to do it.
Yeah, those guys will kill you. Fast for big guys too. That's the thing that always gets me, is the speed that those guys.
I was playing with my puppy earlier today, and I couldn't run across the house without catching. Like, just eat food, go away. I can't do it.
Try to baby sometime.
Yeah, on the football field.
This baby running across the floor is freaking crazy. Hey, everybody, look. Thank you again for joining us, Mark, Kevin, Rob, as always. Aurora came by. Thank you for my lovely wife, Rachel, when she tunes in, and definitely for supporting us, because without that, I would not be here. We will see you guys next week for the final show of the fantasy football season. Not the final show all year, but of the finals of the fantasy football season. Again, bring us your dud picks. Bring us your draft picks of who made it all the way wire to wire. And we're going to talk about how we did on our predictions as far as players of the year on offense and defense and rookies and all that stuff. MVP predictions. We'll revisit our Super Bowl prediction. We'll talk about anything that you guys want to talk about related to fantasy football, NFL, and even college. We're here for you guys. Roop, there it is. Do you have anything as the final words of 2021? I mean, this is the last thing that's coming out live in 2021.
That is true. You better talk some trash, because, so your last chance to do it this year. Really get in somebody's face and say it, because it's funny. Like, even if, like, right now I want to talk trash to a lot of you, but I'm sitting in 7th place, 8th place, 9th place, 4th place, out of all the money. And I'm just, it hurts. And I still want to talk trash, but I have nothing to back it up. So it makes it kind of funny. But I wish you all the luck in the championship round. Stick around for next week and bring us everything you got. Tell us the sob stories. Tell us who pulled you through. Anything you want. We will be here to support you, give you a shoulder to lean on and cry on, because, I'm going to need one, because I'm already knowing what I'm going to do for next year's draft. I'm telling you right now, I'm ready. And we'll see you soon. But the host, take us home, baby.
Hey, everybody out there, I hope you got a great holiday. Everybody be safe on New Year's, not just for yourself, but for everybody around you. Be safe. going into the next year, because we want to see you guys back, and your loved ones do too. Hope you guys had a great fantasy football season. Join us next week, and we're going to have some fun. We're going to play it out. Boomer
Sooner.
Go Buckeyes. We'll see you guys later next week.
Right.
IO. Yak and football, everybody. We'll see you next time.
9:30.
Later.